In the depths of the underhive beneath Saleh, you ponder your next move. Between your party and the valuable power core you seek is some kind of automated defense system. It seems to be motion sensitive, as the las cannons and multi-lasers blasted a rock to pieces when it was thrown in range. How can these things still be operating after all these years? You take your time to consider your options. Book, the Beastman, his plan might work, but relying on the pale mutants who guided you here again could be a risk. They've been helpful thus far, but that was when there was food in it for them, and your group was heavily armed and threatening. Why would they help you in good faith now? They very well could lead you into a trap and then pick through your remains later. Anthrax, the renegade tech priest, seemed to have a solid plan. They would need to find some kind of cogitator unit that could access the auto-defense systems, but the trick would be finding such a thing while avoiding said auto-defenses. You decide to scout out the exterior of the power station. The place was well designed defensively. There were auto turrets and multi-lasers everywhere. There seemed to be no gap.
There! Do you see that light?
Anthrax thrust one of his mechadendrites in the direction of a faint flickering in the darkness. The tech priest moved his floodlight so it illuminated something in the distance. There appeared to be a kind of alcove on the side of the facility, and you could see a screen. It might be what you're looking for.
That looks like it might be a data hub. It is possible that I can access the defense system from there, Omnisire willing.
You could see two different defense turrets protecting the approach. One sat on top of the facility, and the other one was off to the left of the alcove. There was something odd about the upper turret. It wasn't moving as smoothly as it scanned for intruders. You hold back Book and Anthrax for a moment, and you hurl a stone into turret range. The left turret fired a barrage of las blasts, obliterating the stone. But the upper turret couldn't swing its barrel around to fire.
Ha! It's jammed! We only have one turret to bypass.
I have an idea.
Book rummaged around in his things and produced a crack grenade, and narrowed his eyes as he looked at his target. You and your companions had to stay out of range of the weapon systems, and you were nearly 300 meters away from the turret.
This is my last one. I should have stocked up before we came down here, but I didn't think we'd be fighting armored targets down here in this pit. But I think I got this.
You've never seen a human being make such a throw. You could maybe get half that distance on your best day. Book removed the cap on the crack grenade. He pulled the pin, wound up, and hurled the grenade with all his might. The grenade was magnetized, so all he needed to do was get close enough for it to latch onto the turret. You quickly lose sight of the thing in the darkness. There is a moment of silence as you wait for the explosion. The beastmen's ears perk up as they also waited in eager anticipation. A moment later, and there was an explosion dead center on the turret. Book roared in victory.
Yes! Now do your part, Tech Priest.
My part? This whole mission is my part. You throw one little explosive and you think you've done everything single-handedly.
You couldn't help but grin as the tech priest muttered away and scuttled towards the port. You follow behind. You look back to see that the mutants have vanished. Hopefully they're content with their food and not leaving to set an ambush of some kind. The other beastmen brayed and slapped Book on the back. You shake your head as you make your way towards the hub. Within a few moments, Anthrax was already working feverishly to figure things out.
This may take a moment. This is an ancient format, and this machine spirit is a spiteful, willful creature. But I think I can access the systems we're looking for.
Take all the time you need, priest. It's not like we're in any kind of rush. Let's get this power source, and then I want my pay.
Just as Book finishes, there is an extremely loud burst of noise. Auto gunfire rips through the air, and one of the beastmen on Book's crew was struck in the back and riddled with bullets. As he fell forward, his head fell into the line of fire, and bits of skull and gray matter spattered across your face. A combat servitor slowly marched into view, spraying the area with fire. You manage to dodge behind the remains of the exploded turret and take cover. You begin to return fire, as do the beastmen once they get their bearings. Book takes a couple of shots to his carapace armor before the cyborg drone is brought down in a hail of las and autogun fire. Book looked as if he was about to say something, but metallic footfalls heralded the arrival of more servitors. They began emerging from a doorway on the left side of the alcove. It was difficult to see what was going on. Anthrax's light was focused on the cogitator, and the only time you could see what was happening was in the light of muzzle flashes. Fortunately, las blasts and autogun fire were filling the air. This silhouetted the grim, gray-skinned creatures. From what you could see, there were about 4 of them. They were heavily armed with large-caliber autoguns, las weapons, and you thought you could hear the distinct sound of a bolter going off. You knew the kind of heavy weapons these things could carry. And many of the servitors you could see had cruel melee weapons in place of their hands, drills, vices, clamps, claws. They were like some kind of hideous nightmare. Book and his beastmen were trying to mow them down as quickly as they could, but the mechanical components of these things made them haughty and difficult to destroy quickly with small arms fire. You think about the Gauss rifle from before. You still had one hidden in your coat. You could try to use that. You have heard how powerful these Xenos weapons could be. But you haven't had a chance to use it before, neither had Book. You don't know if it had a kick, what safety mechanisms it has. You simply haven't had the time to learn how to use it. But if you could get it to work, it might obliterate these tin can men. You also could leave the fighting to the beastmen. Book has shown himself to be fairly reliable, but this sort of thing is what these creatures are for. You could stay hidden and let the beastmen take the brunt of the fighting. Perhaps you could put yourself at more risk and try to organize the defense of Anthrax a bit better. From what you can see, they're only coming from the one door. If you could help bring down the servitors that were already out here, you and the beastmen could fan out and find good pieces of cover, and then shoot anything else that came through the door. Perhaps you have a different plan. It has come time to make another choice in this ongoing adventure where you, the listeners, are the main character. If you have another course of action you would like to take, state it in the comments below. There will be a poll set up in the community tab where you will be able to vote on the next course of action. Do you want to try to use your Gauss rifle? Do you want to leave the fighting to Book and his beastmen to handle? Do you want to rely on the weapons you're familiar with and try to help organize the beastmen a bit better? Or is there some other action you would like to take? The choice is yours. No man do they call me. My mother and my father, and all my comrades as well. Thank you all for listening to the latest episode of Kazazel's Merry Marauders. If you enjoyed what you heard, please like and comment below, as that ensures that our intrepid main character grows in his piratical prowess. If you are new to the channel, and you want to hear more of this kind of thing, feel free to subscribe, and also check out the Kazazel playlist to hear the story from the beginning. If you would like to help me out and show your support, you can become one of my patrons and see ad-free versions of my content. People who donate $5 a month also get exclusive behind-the-scenes commentary from me. If you prefer, you can also donate via PayPal if you're more comfortable with that platform. Thank you all very much, and No Man out.